start recording. All right. First off, I wanted to talk about homework for our kindergarten school year. I do not send homework home on a nightly basis for kindergartners. I feel like it's a lot for them to adjust just to going to school 5 days a week, all day. So I think that's enough to start the year. If I notice a student is struggling in an area, I will send extra practice home in that area or concept maybe that they're struggling with. Typically, I don't see it a whole lot at the beginning of the school year, but if I start to notice as things get harder that they're struggling, I'll make sure that we catch that. And if I think they could benefit from extra practice, I will send that home with them. If a student is struggling to complete their work in the time that I give them during the class day, I will once in a while send home that homework on the return to school side, so you know that that needs to come back to me. Just please always make sure, and you guys have been doing an awesome job of that, just checking their folders every night, cleaning it out, making sure to check that left-hand side to see if there's anything that needs to come back to school. So, are there any questions about the folder and the information that's been coming home? Okay. I know for the most part, most of you are familiar with those folders and how they work, so that's been great. The next thing I wanted to talk about, so I said I don't send home nightly homework, but sometime in October, I'm hoping that's when we'll start it. It just kind of depends on where the kids are at that point in our reading. I will begin the Book in a Bag program, and this will become your child's nightly homework. So I will be sending more information home about that. It's going to be 3 to 4 books in a bag, and their homework every night is to read. Sometimes I start it out at 2, sometimes I'll bump it up to 3 depending on where we're at. Their homework is to read those 3 books a night, and I'll be communicating with you in my newsletter the strategies that we're working on in class, and I want to see them applying those strategies every single night at home with those books that come home with them. So I love this program. I think the kids love it too because they get to show parents, what they're learning in class, and they get to show that they're becoming readers, and that's fun. So that will come home probably sometime in October. These are our classroom expectations. We talked about this probably, I think it was the second day of class, and it ties in with our clip chart. So if I notice a child that isn't following our classroom expectations, I do give them a warning, and the second time they have to clip down. So listening bodies, we talked about this. I will listen and follow directions the first time they are given. That's something that kindergartners are learning, to follow the directions the first time. Directions have been really tough, and I think it's just because we've been at home for 5 months. I was trying to break it up and give it to them in smaller chunks, and then I decided to go with like visual cards, and I think that's helping them, writing them up on the board with the visual cards. So hopefully we'll get better with the following directions. I've been a little lenient on that because once again, they've been at home for 5 months, and it's something that we all have to reteach ourselves. So I will raise my hand to share ideas and if I have a question. So I appreciate when students raise their hands because I try to remind them I can only listen to one of you at a time. So make sure we raise our hands to share our thoughts and answer questions. Quiet mouths, I will use my soft voice. They've been doing pretty well with this. Transition period for us, we're still learning. Just because we're moving on to something new doesn't mean that our mouth needs to explode and we need to just start talking and talking and talking. So we're working on transitions. They're doing an awesome job with our reading workshop when we're all together and we're doing a mini lesson. They're making sure they're raising their hands. So in that sense, they're doing a good job, but just working on those transitions. So they actually lost a few marbles today because the transitions got a little crazy. So the fourth one is walking feet. I will always walk in school to be safe. I tell them the only time they can run is when they are in PE. And so that's when they're in the gym. So 5, helping hands. I will use my hands for helping and not hurting. I definitely have some helpers in here, and I've noticed that in the first week and a half, so that's great. And then 6, caring hearts. I will be kind with my words and actions. And this is just something I try to remind my students that they cannot control somebody else's actions or words, but they can control their own. A lot of them are so worried about what so-and-so is doing. They're doing it, so I'm going to do it too. Well, you're responsible for you and only you. You can't control what they're doing. If they're making bad choices, you can control yours. So I just try to make sure that if they are saying so-and-so is doing it, so I did it, that they're responsible for them and only them. Are there any questions about my classroom expectations? And like I said, I use the clip chart to kind of help monitor this, and they get a warning the first time, and then the second time they clip down.
I have a question.
Yes.
What are the colors on the clip chart? She can normally tell me what color she's on, but I'm not sure what the actual colors are.
That's a great question. I last year started sending home a calendar and sticking it in the back of their folder that had the colors at the top and like what each one meant, and every day the students would color them in. Would that be helpful for you guys? It was a chore. It was a chore at the end of the day to get it done. But I think it's beneficial because, like you said, you don't know the colors. And so if your child's coloring in where they ended, you can see that, and then you can talk about where they ended for the day. So I can send that home. I'll probably not start it until the new month, September, but so the very top's purple, and that's outstanding. Excellent choices is blue. I'm looking at it right now. Below that's great effort. And then everybody starts at ready to learn, and that's green. And then if they have to clip down, it goes down to yellow. And that's just kind of, you know, stop, think about what you're doing. And then at the very bottom, it's orange, and it says make better choices. So that's what the colors are. And like I said, if it's more helpful, I can send home a calendar that has the student, they color in the color where they ended for each day. I think that's a good way for parents to communicate how they did at school that day. So, are there any other questions? All right. About the 3rd or 4th day, we started our whole class behavior system. I kind of realized this early on that teachers will compliment class as a whole and say, you know, your class did a really good job being quiet in the hall. And for that, I feel like, you know, they're working as a team to make good choices and do what they know they have to do, and that they should be awarded as a team or rewarded as a team. So we have a marble jar on our whiteboard, and if I receive a compliment or they receive a compliment, so like today, Mrs. Wilkinson said that kindergartners had a 2 thumbs up day. I said, you know, if you get 2 thumbs up from a special teacher, you guys get a marble. So today they got a marble because they did awesome for Mrs. Wilkinson in music. Just like they can be earned, they can also be taken away. Like I said, they know transition times need to stay quiet. That's something we've been working on, and a few times today they were just out of control, so they lost a couple marbles for that. Our class as a team, we're going to be working together every single day as a team, and I just want them to be rewarded for that. So once they reach their goal right now is 10. They'll get to vote on what they want. So I'll put some choices up on the board. They can throw in some choices that they have. One kiddo said they want a candy day. So I'm not sure if that's going to happen, or a candy party, he said. So when we reach our goal and they decide what they want, I'll let you guys know and give you a date for that reward. Last year we had kiddos that wanted a pajama and popcorn party, and we watched a little PBS video. So I'll let you guys know so that if it's your child comes home and saying they need to wear pajamas, you know why. So I just want to make sure that nobody else is trying to get in. All right. Any questions about that? All right, birthdays. Birthdays are really, really special for every kiddo, and I want everyone in our class to have the opportunity to celebrate a birthday with our class. If you would like to bring treats in for your child's birthday this year, they need to be pre-packaged. In previous years, they were allowed to be homemade, but just because of the circumstances, they need to be pre-packaged. And if you have a date in mind, if you could let me know so we could fit it into our schedule. Usually happens at the end of the day. Students with birthdays in the summer, they can still celebrate those. Mr. Walls gives out birthday bracelets, and for the kiddos that have summer birthdays, he gives them to them on their half birthday. So if you would like to celebrate their half birthday with our class, just let me know that, because like I said, I think it's really special. They enjoy it. I let them choose a game that the whole class gets to play, and I just want to make it a special experience for them. So, are there any questions about birthdays? Let's see, how am I doing on time? Okay, I'm gonna send home something else I wanted to talk about, but I don't have time to talk about it today. If you have any questions after reading through it, just let me know. It kind of talks about how I think it's really important to meet each child's individual needs and what that kind of looks like in each subject for us. And usually I don't start my guided reading groups or centers until about 4 to 5 weeks into the school year, just because kindergartners need that time to learn the expectations and the procedures. Because when I'm meeting with a guided reading group, I have 15 minutes with that group, and so it's really important that the other kiddos in the room know what's expected of them. So they'll be moving to different stations, and they just need to know that they're working independently and just what the expectations are for each center. So those usually start about 4 to 5 weeks into the school year. So I'll send that packet home tomorrow, and you guys can read through it, and if you have any questions, just let me know. I have a couple of minutes left. Does anybody have any questions about Google Classroom? I sent that packet home. I know a lot of you were able to get into Google Classroom and complete the assignment. Man, you guys are easy. No questions? I'll explain specials a little bit. If we do have a unscheduled or even a scheduled remote learning day, Mrs. Barr and Mrs. Wilkinson, depending on if it's a PE or a music day, will have assignments posted. As far as I understand, they're going to invite each child that is in our class into their own classroom. So what you'll need to do is when they do that, you're going to do the same process you did for me. You're just going to accept the invitation. And then when your child logs in, you can see Mrs. Wilkinson's kindergarten music class, and you'll just click in there and she'll have the assignment in her classroom for that. Does that make sense? I'm kind of new to Google Classroom, so I'm learning. I did Google Slides last year for my remote learning, and I really liked it, so I'm excited to use Google Classroom. Are there any questions? All right. Okay, we got done a few minutes early. So I hope you guys have a very blessed evening and enjoy your family time together. So have a good night.
You do.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
You say bye. I know you're saying that.